All right, we're recording.
Okay.
Hey,
Hello.
so I'm Diane,
I'm Althea.
and we're the Magical Mofos.
Mofos.
We don't do a show anymore. You know what? We could do this regularly, and this be our Magical Mofo show. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, we should
Absolutely.
do this more often. So we're doing this. We're recording this on Zoom because apparently Facebook doesn't allow these like lives with friends anymore. And I'm not a big Instagram user as much as Facebook. So
Yeah.
maybe that's because of my age. I don't know.
I don't know. I
I
mean,
find
they're
it's
very different.
yeah, I find Instagram very like I don't know how to see stories. I'm like, what? They keep disappearing. I don't get it.
Stop teasing me.
Right?
Yes. 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 Yes.
Yeah, it's too fast for me. Anyway, all right. So we were gonna talk about some stuff because I mean, this is I find the States is a little bit because you're in California, I'm in Ottawa, Canada, and I feel like generally speaking, the States might be a little bit behind in terms of like self-isolation than we are here in Ottawa because we have been like since last Friday. Well, you just have been naturally.
I have been practicing this way of life for about 35 years, I'd say.
Yes.
This is heaven for me
except
without
for
any
except for going out for lunch and dinner. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
even then, I mean, I've got
Yeah.
plenty of food. I'm like, oh, this is great. Yeah, it
Yeah.
makes me
Yeah.
laugh, but it's
Yeah.
affecting a lot of people for sure.
No, it's a crafter's delight as well. But I'm
There's
even
delight.
yeah. I'm also I'm thinking about when sorry, this is really not what we were going to talk about, but whatever, it is what it is.
No,
I
no,
keep
just
thinking about when I had my knee surgery, because I've had 3 in the last 8 years, like 6 years, whatever. 2000 yeah, 2012 was the first one. So I've had like 3 surgeries on my right knee, and the when I had the ACL reconstruction, I was like laid up for 2 months, and even then I got tired of knitting.
yeah, yeah. Well,
But you still didn't have that mental um like a friend of mine said the other day, it's that knowing that you're not allowed to do something, you can't go somewhere is the mind fuck, right? It's like, I mean, that's really what people in prison are going through as well. Like you go to prison not to be dehumanized, you go to prison for your like loss of freedom. And that's kind of, I think, a large part of the mental toll on people is that, like, at least here, I don't know what it's like in the States, but and every part of the States is different, but I know here we're like down to like grocery stores, and drugstores, and other
yeah,
than
we
that
we
you're
have
supposed to
that.
stay home.
We've had that
Yeah.
for a while.
Yeah.
I would love to just say this, and we can start from here then.
Yeah.
God forbid that we should have to sit and be with ourselves.
Right.
Over the years, I have noticed, I've said this to numerous clients, that the number one fear that I have witnessed in everyone, and including myself at times in my life, is being with ourselves.
Yeah.
We go anywhere, everywhere, distract ourselves with social media, games, food, anything, so that we don't have to sit and acknowledge that we are here experiencing a body, what that feels like. And I haven't had anyone argue with me on that, and it's part of the experience here on earth. But I know for a fact that it is all about perspective and the point of view, that
Yeah.
no matter what we're going through, whether it's this or something else, we can make it absolute hell and torture, or we can find the good in it and make pure magic and miracles come out of it. And it really is
Absolutely.
up to the individual. It
Yeah.
really is.
Yeah.
So
And you and I like to talk about going beyond managing shit, right? And sometimes you're in that space, you're just like, we're just managing this.
yes.
And I'm very open about that. Just because I try to stay and maintain in a positive space doesn't mean I don't have shit happen, doesn't mean I'm not living through this pandemic as well, just like you. But we strive for better than managing, right? And so um, I have been speaking about like not just managing what's happening in the pandemic, and for some people that's better than where they were, right?
Yeah.
But I want to be focused on envisioning a back to normal, and as like you said to me, even better than normal, because maybe it's a new normal, maybe it's a different normal, but for me, like, I can at least hold on to and that is like that other level, that, like last year when I, for me, was able to, create the trip to go see you. It was like a huge thing for me, a really great manifesting experience. um and but for now, like in this moment, I just, I'm staying in the vision of going back to work and that normalcy, and my son going back to school and going for my chicken shawarma salad at lunch, and going shopping at Nordstrom Rack, or like I have these specific things that for me represent normalcy, and I'm focused on that vision, and so many people are stuck in the 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 panic and the drama, and the 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 negative stuff that's
Out
going
of
on.
control, seemingly out of control
Yes.
nature of it all. Well, yeah, and a big point that we had discussed that I really wanted to bring up to everyone is this current situation is absolutely not an excuse to forget everything you know. This is not an excuse to go, yeah, we create our reality, we all have all this focus and power, and we are creating this and co-creating
But
life,
not now.
but not now because this is different.
This
And
is the
we
time
both
to
have
step it up.
experience, huh?
This is the time to step it the F up.
Absolutely. This is the
Yeah.
time that people like you and me and many others out there, be grateful for people like us, because we're feisty as fuck. And I'm sitting here, I've been doing my work, and I'm not going to drop my energy down and go into the fear, because that is a great, great disservice to myself and to everyone else on this planet. And if
Yeah.
you all start to really realize, we all remember, it still applies, all of it. It does. And I like to look at it from the perspective of, I'm really grateful for this time. Like, find a way to enjoy it, because that's how it is right now. It's literally law of attraction 101. You do
Yeah.
not have to hate where you are in order to create something else. You're not going to be stuck in your house forever. This is a blessing. Start looking at it that way, while you also say, wow, what can I get done right now? What can I create now? And then going back into life, the stuff that you're visualizing, your chicken shawarma and going back
Yeah.
to work. It's not either or, as you like to say a lot.
So yeah, and just to piggyback on what you just said, you love it. You do not have to hate your life or hate where you are to create something better. I say this all the time. We're so addicted to drama and struggle, and there's all of this like messaging in the world that, and in spirituality, which
Yeah.
I find really disempowering, that you have to be in struggle in order to create something better. You do not. You can of course you can make the lemonade out of the lemons, absolutely, but you don't need the lemons. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you really, really, so maybe it's not a good analogy for that, because you do need lemons
You
for the
do need
lemonade.
lemons or some
But you know what
other.
I mean? Like, you do not have to be in pain and struggle in order to create something else or to want better, or, you know what I mean? Like, I think it's like a message that's been warped and changed and kind of bastardized. The other piece though is, oh shoot, I was gonna say, so you don't have to hate where you are. Oh, the reverse of that, or the other side of that coin, is you don't have to, like, you can be in joy even when there's struggle around you. That's okay too.
Well, and that brings me to what I was getting at, and then I got sidetracked, was you and I both have experienced recently even spiritually minded people giving us shit. Like, how dare you be happy and excited and focus on the positive? Not right now. Any other time, any other conditions in life would be fine, but
Yeah.
not right now, you guys. We
Yeah.
can't. No, no,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
no.
And that's happened to me. So this is why we were going to have this conversation. I was getting
Yeah.
really like riled up today. Thank God I have you in my life. I was getting really riled up because it was like, I have noticed this. And honestly, I'm not going to like lessen this message. I'm just going to friggin' say it. We were just talking about how like even I tone myself down. Shockingly to some people, I do tone myself down.
Or toned down.
I'm not going to tone this down. I have really noticed, and it's just been maybe more obvious within this situation. Generally speaking, I find, the quote unquote positive people, right, um, are very tolerant and inclusive and lenient and accepting of negative people. I'll just put it that way. That's the easiest way I can say it. Negative people are very intolerant of positive people. Again, this is a generalization.
And I've experienced it as well.
Yeah. And it's like, how dare you be happy? How dare you have joy? How dare you spread positivity? I actually had this lady like blocked me this week because she wrote, like, she's dealing with her trauma around everything that's happening, which is fine. She's allowed to. And I just simply like responded to her and I said, if you don't want, because I don't know this lady, she's just, one of those like Facebook friends, somebody who friended me along the way. And I just said, and I really, obviously when you're writing, you're texting or you're posting, you can't read tone. But I just said, well, you should unfollow me if you don't want to see, like, because my stuff is, I'm memeing and laughing and making jokes and throwing in some positivity stuff and empowering stuff. If people want the empowering stuff, it's there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just said, well, if you're not looking for positivity and humor, you should unfriend or unfollow me. She blocked me and I was like, okay, great.
Boom.
Somebody else today like spammed me with some like forwarded thing and I wrote her back. I don't know this lady. And I got 4 of these in the span of 2 hours. I wrote this lady back and I said, please don't send me this stuff, like this forwarded stuff that is just generic. Like, I don't care if it's about the pandemic or about a panda in the zoo. Like, I don't give a shit. I don't want it. It's not personal. It's not a personal message from you to me. I don't want to hear it. I feel like you're coming into my living room and throwing up all over the place. And I don't want it. Like, it's my house and I'm allowed to say what I want and don't want in it. And then she just wrote back like, I don't know what she wrote back. And then she unfriended me. So like, great.
The tolerance level is just not there. I get it. I've had to tell
great.
people multiple times, like, I'm not talking about this. It does not, absolutely does not mean that everything that I've done to work on myself, heal myself, and knowing how creation works, at least to a certain level, it doesn't mean that it's all just a moot point.
Yeah.
And that everyone's tripping balls, or a lot of people, and I've seen both. I've seen people that are very much similar alignment to what we're talking about. And then I've seen, as I'm scrolling, like, people just, the one that's getting me a little bit, not gonna lie, people that are opening their statements with a little bit of positivity, and then it's just like getting socked in the gut with the negativity. Mm-hmm. Where it's like, I've felt the pull a little bit too, where I felt as though, okay, am I supposed to act like it's worse than I think it is?
I'm not sick.
She's not sick. But there's this pull of, am I going to piss people off, or am I supposed to, and I'll use the word coddle them. Am I supposed to coddle you in your fear? That is a fucking horrible thing in my belief system to do.
Yeah,
I am here to empower you and to keep myself empowered, okay?
Yeah,
I understand there are people that get sick, okay? I've been in the health field most of my life. I've been studying nutrition and vitamins and health since I was a little kid. And I know about the physical body. And now I am an energy healer. I know this, okay? Mm-hmm. Wash your hands, yes. Keep stuff clean, yes. But freaking out and allowing those people that are not being logical to control the way the energy's flowing, I'm not with it. It's insanity to me.
I'm totally with you. There is a beautiful space between, it's balanced, right? And so it's like you can be, and I posted this earlier this week too, you can be smart and know there is something happening without going into panic, without going into that, I am a victim of this. And you and I are here for people who want to do better than be victims. And again, I'm not talking about being the victim of a crime. It's not what I'm talking about, but this is like really bringing out the victim consciousness in people,
Yes.
that victim mindset. And everybody, not everybody, but most people right now are feeling like that they are powerless and ineffective. And that's because most people don't really get the power of energy and the power of self. And that's why you and I always talk about like real self empowerment. And the real self empowerment is knowing that you are in control, that you are responsible for your life 100% of the time. You're not consciously choosing. You don't wake up in the morning and go, I'm going to create a pandemic in the world. That's not what we're saying. But
No, I
you
don't
are.
remember doing that for sure.
No,
Did you?
I don't remember doing that too.
I don't remember having that in my field of
Somebody in a lab in China did, but whatever. Um, but we are completely responsible for how we live through experiences, and again, how you choose to redirect, or what are you going to visualize, right? And what are you going to create next? So yes, so now we're in this situation. So let's keep our eye on the ball and let's stay focused on what we want to create, because, and that's unfortunately most people don't get, that they're creating all the time. And it's not, the law of attraction is a law. It exists whether you believe in it or not. We are always, always, always creating. And the faster people can realize that, the faster we can like shift things. Like I remember at one point with the fires in Australia, that went on for months. And then all of a sudden I saw this like flurry of energy practitioners in the world going, okay, it's time. We're done. Let's start visualizing something different. And it actually created a shift. I remember seeing that something happened. And
Mhm.
so can we not wait for 3 months? Maybe we can all start, and not everybody's going to do this, but that would be my desire. Which leads me to the other thing I told you I wanted to talk about. I had the best awareness this morning, because as I always tell people, when you have an awareness of how you're functioning, don't make yourself wrong about it. They go, oh, okay, I'm functioning from this thought. This is how I'm feeling, and I can change it.
Yes.
So I found myself just being annoyed and thinking, why am I doing this? Like, what is the point of me trying to visualize something different beyond this when everybody else is like stuck in panic? Like, I can't do this by myself, right? But then I thought, wow, that's really disempowered. That's a real victim. Like, that's not me and my power, right?
Mhm.
And so I told you about that. And then I had to switch it into like, forget it. It doesn't matter what other people are doing. I have to stay in my power and do it for me. And I still have that kind of like, how does that work? Like, how can I make a change when everybody else is thinking something different? So I'm going to keep working on that because I know better,
Yeah.
right? But it's, right now that's the tug of war that I'm going through.
Well, I wonder how
Um,
many people you're picking up on that are feeling that way.
Girl, I go to the groceries. That's another thing we should talk about, because I go to the grocery store, but you're absolutely right. I went to the grocery store. The minute I go to the grocery store, and it happened to me earlier this week, I get a headache. And I'm like, oh, fuck. It's not my headache. I know I'm picking
Yeah,
up
yeah.
on everybody's anxiety and everybody's fear. Um, you know, Twice in the past 8 or 9 days, I've felt like tightness in my lungs. And it just comes on really quickly, right? Depending on who I'm talking to. So I know it's not me. I know it's what we're aware of. So it's really, and you and I are really, really on top of that. And we see that. And when we don't see it, we call each other out on it, which is really
True.
good. Um, but a lot of what is happening to people is that they're picking up that stuff from other people. And then it becomes this like, rippling effect
Well, it's
where,
it's thought forms.
yeah,
It's grids, it's morphic fields. That is absolutely true. We are picking up on other people's thoughts and feelings. on an individual level, but also on a massive level. That, yeah, you're going to walk through a store and you're going to pick up on, you could pick up on the people that are there right then and there, but you're also picking up on the energy left behind and the fears and intense emotions of people that were there maybe a little bit ago or the day before. Like that stuff really does stick in the air and on actual physical objects.
Yeah.
It's not to overcomplicate it, but this stuff is possible. And I mention this because we can feel like we're crazy sometimes. We're not crazy. It's all energy. And if you have the ability, it's actually the first time I've ever even thought of it this way, but if you have the ability to feel somebody else's energy in a supermarket that's not even there anymore, you could walk around and say, I'm going to leave some happy energy in the supermarket. Like it's the opposite end of it. Like if you can pick up someone's bad, scared energy, then you'd be like, here's my little ray of sunshine right by checkout 3. That play around with that stuff. But what we tend to do is we are programmed and directly and indirectly told that we are here and we're either lucky or not lucky, and that's just life. And that's the basis of what we're trying to tell everyone is, first and foremost, that ain't true. You're creating your life. Let's start there. If we can just get people to open up to the idea, just open up to it a little bit, that there's more possible, and that yes, you do
that
matter.
You're more powerful than you think you are.
Way more powerful. And you can use that power to create all this lovely stuff that you like, or flat out fucking fear and insanity. And you can do it all in an instant, whatever you'd like. Yep. Whatever you'd like. And I wonder if, if you want to like give, I feel like I remember back in the day when I used to watch things and I was seeking for knowledge and hungry for it, which, I still do. I'm always growing, but I always wanted people like, that's great. That's a great concept. But what are some practical applications? Give me 2 or 3 things or just an idea of what I can do. That I'm sitting here scared and this really is happening in reality. What could I do for myself? So wonder if you have any idea of what you would suggest to people to help them feel better.
I think you suggested that maybe we would do like you could do a clearing, which I think would be awesome. I just before we go on to like the next, because I think it would be nice too if we did kind of engage in this kind of like, let's throw out some love and some positivity. And we're not suggesting that, we're not suggesting that it's like, oh, light and love and light, and it's not about that, but there is like an actual, like you said, I like what you said about going to the grocery store and just like spreading some love, and and I am really like trying to stay in my lane and just be me and be in that space. And that's why I don't want anybody coming in and barfing in my messenger with this like forwarded nonsensical stuff. Like I get it. We're in a pandemic. I don't need you to come and vomit in my living room. Like I'm trying to keep my house clear and high energy and positive, and I'm curating my experience. But I also wanted to add that we are all empathic, and there's so much drama around being an empath, right? You've seen that stuff on Facebook. You and I laugh because it's like, oh, it's so dramatic to be an empath. Listen, we are all empathic. Every human being on the planet is empathic, and you are aware of, you may not be aware of it, but you are aware of other people's feelings and thoughts and physical symptoms. And just it's not just the people who know they are empaths who are empathic. Everybody is. So we are picking up on other people's stuff. And sometimes I like in the past week, I'll just be sitting there and I'm spinning or I'm knitting or I'm doing whatever, and all of a sudden I feel joy. And I've been really, really consciously staying in that space, because often we pick up on drama or we pick up on negativity or a sadness or whatever, and then we go look for the story that matches that, because we don't think that we think it's ours, right? Because most people aren't aware that they're empathic. So they get like a negative thought. I'm just going to use negative and positive, whatever. I'm not going to like
Yeah.
mince my words.
Word
So
police.
you're aware of a negative thought or a sadness or a fear or whatever. And then it just comes out of nowhere, because really what's happening is you're tuning into somebody else. And then you very, very quickly, your mind will go looking for the story in your life that matches that feeling. And then it anchors it in, and then it, it anchors it in. But interestingly, it's more easy for us to do it with negative stuff than positive stuff, right? So to feel joy when the world seems to be going to shit, it seems like a weird thing. But for me, when I'm in that, when I get those moments, my goodness, I just really appreciate, and I just allow myself to feel that joy. I don't need a story to match it other than, man, this is like me feeling the universe. That's basically how I feel. When I feel that pure joy, I know that that is the truth, right? That is my truth. And that's me being a piece of the universe when I'm feeling that joy for no apparent reason, no physical evidence for that joy. I lean into it and I really, really like bring more of it in. Anyway, I totally went off on a tangent.
No, but I think that's a really great thing that people can do. Something very simple that they can practice. Like maybe they're having fun with their kids at home playing and they get
Yeah.
that spark of joy inside of them. And just if they can take a moment and go, oh, wait, rather than just letting that be a fleeting feeling, then they can just take a breath and say, hold on, how can I embody this a little
Right.
more? Let it expand. Let yourself just marinate in that for a little bit. That's a
Yes.
perfect example of a practical step that people can do.
Yes, and then like we were saying, that will ripple out. It will ripple out.
Absolutely.
It
It
will
does.
be
Your
felt.
shit ripples out and the joy ripples out too.
Your shit ripples out.
Whatever you want to ripple out.
Your good shit and your bad shit. It all ripples out.
All rippling. Don't resist the ripple.
Do you wanted to talk about tools? And obviously, like I'm a fan of EFT tapping. So I mean that's, I don't necessarily want to like do a thing on that, because I really think like, yeah, I don't want to necessarily, I want to talk about how we could talk about how there are tools to deal with it. I just find like how people react is more than just a momentary, like in this thing. So I don't really want to do like a generic tapping thing. I don't know if that makes sense.
Run that by me again. Give me more info.
Well, because you were asking about how can people concretely, change how they're experiencing things, and I'm just saying, like, I'm a big fan of EFT tapping, but I don't know that I really want to do like a generic quick, like, this is how you do tapping thing.
You don't have to. I mean, just
Yeah.
something, that's what I was being led to do. Just give them some things that they can use. And a very simple one that's coming to me right now is saying no. Someone's talking to you about stuff that makes you uncomfortable, regardless of what it is, and you start feeling your whole body going into stress. That's your sign right there. You've crossed the
Yeah.
boundary. This conversation sucks.
Yeah.
And it's not to say to avoid all conversations, because sometimes we do need to talk about things. But if someone wants to talk to you about heavy duty subjects that you really do not have any direct control over, and you can feel the stress in your body, because I
Yeah.
felt it when people talk to me,
Yeah.
give yourself permission to
Yes.
get out of that conversation. Hang
Yep.
up the phone. Stop worrying if people are going to be mad at you or talk to you again, because truth be told, if they're going to be mad at you because you're trying to take care of yourself, do you really want that person around? I don't care if it's your mom, your dad,
Amen.
your dog, your cat, like
Yeah.
whatever. The answer is no. Because
Everybody.
the one thing is, if you
Yeah.
are not in a good space and you're not feeling good, you're going to start emitting crap. You're not helping anyone anymore. You're
Yeah.
not sitting there in a good neutral space going, wow, I can see the good in this and I feel really clear so that I can create my future. No, you're sitting there getting bombarded with somebody who, as you said, like in your inbox, is barfing, energetically barfing all over you. And
Yep.
I'm not saying, again, we are all here to help each other. But if you aren't in a space where you can help that person, honor that and say, hey, I'd love to talk to you. I'd love to help you, give you some guidance, but I'm actually feeling a little run down or unclear right now myself. So that is honoring to you, and that is honoring to that other person. If I'm feeling tired and really run down, I know my limit and I will not do sessions. I will not when I'm run down.
Listen, I don't have a problem with giving people guidance or helping people. What I have a problem with is
Other
people coming. Oh, yeah. Okay. Because I was going to say, my issue is like people trying to convince me of like the struggle.
Well,
like,
that's what I mean. Like, if we're in a good space, there are some people are just going to reject you. That's how it is. Some people just do not want help. I know it's crazy. I know I didn't get it either. Some people do not want help.
Oh, 100%.
Other people are scared. They're really scared, and they're spinning, and they're saying this stuff because they're trying to get validation, or like, oh my God, are you going to say something to me? Are you going to say something to me that's going to make me feel a little safer? But it can often come across as they're dumping on you. And but, because they're scared. But Diane, this and this and this. If you're not in a grounded space where you can navigate through that, then don't have that conversation with that person at that time. That's what I found to be true in my life too, because it doesn't matter how much you try to help them. You're tired, you're worn down, and next thing you know, you're gonna be like, fuck it, I agree with you, it all sucks. I hate it all, I'm done. You know, and it's not, and then that didn't help anyone.
You know what? I just had a thought. We were talking about this earlier, how misery loves company. And I think I did a meme about this like years ago. Misery loves company, but so does like happiness, like, or so does joy. Joy loves company too, right?
It does.
But it is fascinating how, just like I was saying before, that, you know, negative people have less tolerance for positive people than positive people have for negative people. Negative people are always looking for validation of their negativity. Like, always is a generalization, but are often looking for the validation for their pain and suffering, right? And right, like, but
I have found that to be often true.
More positive, expanded people don't need the validation for their expansion. You just do it. You just be it, right?
Yeah, you do your thing, I'll do mine. But then when somebody starts getting in your space, you got to ask yourself, why is this person in my space? Is there something I can do to help them? Is this here to trigger me? And that's a lot deeper. That's a deeper level of self-reflection that a lot of people are a little iffy with, because we're so quick to point fingers at the other person.
Well, yeah, but that's because you're self-empowered, and you take 100% responsibility for your experience.
And I really just think that right now would be a really good time for all of us to remember that. If someone or something is in your experience, whether good or negative, just be nice to yourself. First, be nice to yourself so that you'll even look at it. Because if you're already judging yourself off the bat, you're not going to look at it. But ask, why is this here? Why did it bother me? What's happening within me?
Yeah, and we need to be nice to ourselves first.
Absolutely.
You do not need somebody else's permission to be nice to yourself. You don't need somebody else's validation that you deserve to be nice to yourself in order to be nice to yourself. You've got to be nice to yourself first, and then the rest falls into place. And we have it backwards in this world.
Very. And so I would like to do a little clearing, activation, healing about self-love and being nice to ourselves, because it all sounds great, but I could already just hear some people and some energy of, that sounds good, but what if I don't even know how to love myself or be nice to myself? Because we've also, a lot of us have been trained to push and push and push, that you got to be very competitive, and it's that struggle and suffering, and that doesn't go along with the relaxed kindness that we really need to be in order to receive.
Yeah.
So if everyone's ready, I would like you, if your hands are free, I would like you to just place one hand on your heart.
I was going to make a joke, but
let's stay on target here. I can totally go off on a tangent. So just put one of your hands on your heart and take a deep breath.
Very serious. Okay, let me get serious.
Don't be too serious. That's boring. And just start to feel your heart beating a little bit, unless that freaks you out. You are having an experience with the body, and just feel the warmth from your hand and start noticing that you feel kind of a soothing sensation. And I find this to be very calming, just to put my hand on my heart. Take a deep breath. And close your eyes if you haven't already.
Don't tell me what to do, Althea.
I'd like to invite you all to close your eyes if you'd like. If not, do whatever you want.
Oh my God, welcome to me and Althea having conversations.
There we go. So we're going to start to just disentangle you from everyone and everything across all time, space, dimensions. And we're going to do a big deactivation and sweeping out of all fear energies and fear implants now. Just disentangling you all from any fear grids. And I want anyone who's listening to this or ever listening to this, let's go ahead and just visualize the earth. Take a big step back and just notice what you see and feel. Any sort of distorted fear activated grids. And we're going to collapse those out now. 1, 2, 3. And you are part of this. You're focusing on that. You're helping collapse out all this fear, all this worry, all the way down into the center of the earth, just disentangling anywhere this planet's been infused with any sort of fear, struggle, suffering. And we're going to delete that out of your cells and your DNA. All that survival energy, all the pain, shock, and trauma that you're carrying around and Mother Earth is carrying, let it go quickly and easily. Take another nice deep breath and call back all of your energy, all of your soul cleansed and purified, and recentering. We're just going to take you back to center and neutral.
Reset.
That beautiful, harmonious center. You don't have to figure it out. You're doing it perfectly right. It's already done. And now we're going to activate and align that everyone starts to receive a higher level of self-love and appreciation and kindness. Ooh, that energy of kindness. Whoa. And I'm going to ask you to just turn up your receiving more and more and more. That whatever levels of kindness you've ever been able to receive, that you give yourself permission to turn it up, however much you can receive. And as that energy fills up all of your molecules and expands out past the edges of your body, bigger and bigger, I want you to come straight from your heart center, and I see this beautiful sparkly pink light. Take another deep breath, and I want you to just send that heart energy throughout the whole entire planet, all of the plants, all of the animals, all of the minerals, and all of the people. And it's just, we're so mean to each other too. As soon as I tapped into that, there's still this divide of how many people love animals so much, and I always talk about hating people. You're basically saying you hate yourself, so let's clear that.
Yeah. Can I just jump in for a second? When you were asking to visualize the planet, I just saw the energy of the planet from the inside coming out. I just saw this beautiful light coming out, and just, you know, like basically Gaia just like supporting and just, you know, sending out that energy. Like the planet is not responsible for our pain or our joy, but the planet is, you know, this beautiful source of power and love and support, and I just really tapped into that. It was very beautiful.
So nice. You just ask, and you guys can whenever you want.
Yeah.
Keep letting that flow and keep turning it up. And you can even see, I kind of see all of us in light energy, light bodies outside of Earth holding hands.
Yeah.
And I do see like a beautiful energetic fountain coming out of the center of the Earth. There we go. So I'm just sweeping up. It's much lighter if you tap into that energy of hating your fellow man. Anywhere that's been implanted or infused into us or this dimension, let's clear that now permanently, because we can. We're choosing it. We're done with that.
Well, and this, I find that when you take us through this kind of exercise, it really refocuses you if you allow it. If you really just go with the flow of what Althea is doing right now, It's not for everybody, but if you allow it and you give it a shot, it really does sort of help you. I'm going to re-listen to this because it helps you refocus into that positive space that we were talking about and get out of the energy of the, like get in your lane and, you know, stay
It
there.
lets you know you're
Sorry.
not alone too. You're
Yeah.
powerful, but you're not alone.
Yeah.
And that what you do matters. I know if you just, and I'm being called to have everybody just keep touching their heart, because there's something very powerful and soothing about that, that we're comforting ourselves. Our body is comforting us and we are comforting our body. And then we get to use that centeredness to extend all the way down into the planet and all the animals and the rocks and everything. It's all life force energy, and that this is very powerful, and you can do this anytime. You can do it on your own, you can do it with a group of friends, you can call people in energetically to do it, and you just ask. And the only other thing is you just have to be willing to receive it. You don't have to receive a lot, but just take a deep breath, and each of you ask yourselves, how much can I receive from the planet right now, and how much can the planet receive from me? And I'm still clearing out all this very thick, old, chaotic, and I just see a lot of sobbing, like
Mm.
nonstop sobbing of how awful we have been to each other. And let's just clear out all of the lifetimes of war and killing, and I'll kill you,
Just
you kill
thinking that.
me, and
Yeah.
I'll kill this and kill and kill. Yes, destruction is part of this time-space dimension, but we need to release the shock and trauma from that now so we can choose beyond it.
And we have to stop waiting for other people to do it. And that's why Althea and I are always talking about you start with you. It starts with you. Peace
With you.
starts with you. Joy starts with you. We are so much, so many of us are waiting for the world around us to change, for life to get better. It literally starts with you. If you can bring more joy, like Althea was saying in the grocery store, drop some joy, drop some positive energy. If we all did that, the world would be a completely different place. You are responsible for your experience, and you're not responsible. I don't agree that we're responsible for other people's joy. Like those memes that say, be the person that makes somebody happy. No, I'm sorry, you're not responsible for whether somebody receives you or not. But that doesn't mean that you can't go through the world in a positive, joyful space for yourself. And then whoever picks up on that is an added benefit. But, it really is like you've got to stop waiting for the world around you to change, and you start doing it from your space first. And that's how we're going to change the world and bring more
Yeah,
positivity.
the world changes when you
Yes.
choose for it to change. You don't
Yes.
let situations and old manifestations and old energy patterns drag you around by the nose. So we're going to anchor that in now. Take a deep breath. Anywhere anyone's scrambled or confused of how the hell do I create, but this is real and this is reality. We're going to unscramble all of the misconceptions around reality and how to create. Anywhere that you felt you needed validation, permission, and anywhere there's a sphere of I can't be so powerful, and anywhere any of you believe that if you're in your full power that somehow disempowers another, that's shit. That is straight up bullshit.
Yes.
And that's a way to keep us all stuck. So we're going to clear that. We're
Absolutely.
going to activate that you each know how to be in your power more and more each day, and that you also know that as you're in your power you inspire others to be in their power. You've got full body.
Hmm.
Good job.
That's nice.
Woo!
Woo-wee.
We are creating the future. It is not set in stone, and I don't think anybody wants to create a shit show.
Yeah.
You're creating it from a
Whew.
space of disempowerment and fear. Bring in that creation energy more. It's time to power up, people. Power up, power up. And I'm going to activate within everyone this super bright, high frequency, golden, just fountain of joy. That you have so much joy within you that there's plenty to share. You can just keep sprinkling that joy everywhere you go, and you actually just get more joy when you do that. You don't run out. And
Yeah.
also activating within everyone, we're going to clear the brains, rebalance, collapsing out any fear patterns in the brain. And we're going to activate that each of you start to recognize and acknowledge that everyone is in a different place consciously, and that you love them where they are, that you can be happy and joyful and create your world, and that some people won't get it and some people will get it later. but you don't stop being happy and joyful and creating powerfully because I want everyone to just take a moment right now. Just please do this with me. This is very, very cool. Take a moment and just tap in, expand out again, and tap into over the course of your entire life thus far. How many people, this makes me want to cry, how many people have you touched in a positive way that you have no clue about? And just let that awareness come to you. You might see their faces, you might feel people patting you on the shoulder, you might just sense it. I've lost count. I've lost count for each of you. You will never, ever know how many people, even people that have been in your face fighting you tooth and nail on what you're saying. You're trying to make them feel better, happy, give them some advice, and they're like, nah, screw this. I don't want to hear your crap. Even those people, tap into how many of those people walked away and they never forgot what you said to them, or they never forgot that you smiled at them or you helped them pick something up, whatever it was, even the smallest things. Just breathe that in and start to really acknowledge and realize how amazing you are and how much you're contributing to this planet. You do matter. What you think matters. What you focus on matters. And we're going to turn up that energy of self-love that you can receive and appreciate yourself more and more and more.
I don't want to interrupt your flow, but let me know when I can add something. Okay, so I really wanted to address something I'm picking up on. I want us to clear up where people feel disempowered and ineffective. And you touched on it a little bit, but I really want to, I'd like us to do an actual clearing on that. But also, I want to say there are people who are going to think, I can't get to a level that I think I should be at, and therefore, what's the point? But really, if you can open up even a little bit, if you can empower, allow yourself to be a little bit more empowered, even 2%. You don't have to get to like 100%. If you can open up a little bit, 2%, if you have a little bit more joy today, if you can let go of a little bit more of the panic and the trauma and just have a bit more peace within yourself, that's better. We're not expecting everybody to get to 100% right away. That is your potential and that is your possibility. But don't get disengaged or don't get frustrated because you can't get there in a moment. It is, Althea and I have been working on ourselves and with each other for years and years and years. That's why at the beginning when Althea said, do you have a technique? And I'm like, I was kind of like, I can't do tapping right now for all of this. Like, it's too much to capture in like 2 minutes, right? But please don't disengage or feel bad because you can't get to where you think you need to be. Just allow, if you can just lean into what Althea is doing, what we're talking about, and open up just even a little bit the space of possibility of you having more power, then that's already doing something. Let in a little bit of more joy and sunshine into your life, and that's already something. So I just want to
lift that energy of comparing. And that's
yes.
all I'm asking. Let's clear comparing. Take a deep breath.
Competition,
We're all
comparing.
at different levels. And trust me, there are days that I have straight up meltdowns and I'm super bitch. Ask anyone that knows me. I have no shame in it. I will have a meltdown anytime, anywhere if need be, because I'm not getting those emotions stuck within me. I keep it to myself, but I'm like, I'm not feeling good. I get overwhelmed. It's moment by moment, day by day. These are tools you can use to get yourself back in center so that you don't get stuck in that stuff. But we compare ourselves too harshly with old versions of ourselves, and we compare ourselves too harshly with other people. And all I'm not even asking you to go to 2% in your power more. I'm simply asking everyone to just open up to the possibility that you are just entertain that idea for one moment, that you are way more powerful than you ever imagined. Or maybe
did you feel that?
A little more powerful than you imagined. Whatever one doesn't freak you out.
I just felt a lot of resistance there. A lot of people going, whoa.
It's possible that, okay, think some happier thoughts and that you could actually improve the outcome of the current situation on this planet.
Yeah.
This could be used at any time. I mean, we could always use some improvement on the planet, but
Yeah.
it's possible. Feel how much lighter that is? Okay, so it's possible. And guess what? You don't have to do anything else with that.
Yeah.
That's for you. That's just take a little bite of the cracker, nibble it up, and you're just, okay, that's enough for me. I mean, Diane and I still get resistant with certain things. We start
No,
out like it's whatever your shit is, whatever you're getting
I don't know
triggered.
what you're, I don't know what you're talking about. I never resist anything. I don't know.
You never resist anything. I
You know
do.
what?
I get super grouchy sometimes when I'm like, just keep going. This is
Oh,
good. I can feel it. God
no,
damn it.
I was being sarcastic. You know that. I would like to do, are you good? Like, did you want to keep going? Because I would like to do a little bit of tapping, if you don't
Yeah,
mind.
I figured you would want to. We just got to get you. I'd put you on the spot a little bit.
Yeah, I was like, have you seen the movie Peter Rabbit?
No, but it looks cute.
No, it is. Seth and I have watched it like a million times. And my favorite part is this deer comes out into the road because they've all gotten into the farmer's house. Now they're leaving. And the deer goes into the road and there's a car coming and that he just stops and he goes, headlights, headlights.
What? What?
It's funny. Anyway.
I understand that feeling though when it taps into the energy.
Yeah. No, and what you did open me up to like sort of what could I also I did a group session on Tuesday night, and what came up, as often comes up, is when people have fear of their power, and that came up during the group session. So I'm thinking let's do a bit of a round. Now again, my caveat is we can do a lot with this, but general tapping is very general, and Althea and I, when we work with people, we go deep. And
I digress.
you know but we go into childhood stuff, we go into past life stuff, we go, it's not just like I mean, quickies are nice, but sometimes you need something a little deeper.
Sometimes you do need a little.
So we'll just have a little afternoon quickie right now. We'll just do that. All right, so I'm going to start with anybody who's not familiar with this, just tapping on the side of the hand. So anybody who wants to do along with this, just, you can repeat along with this or just listen. So even though I have all of this fear of my power, I'm releasing all of that fear now. Everywhere that I've learned to be afraid of my power, whatever that means, whatever that is, I'm letting all of that go now. All of this fear that I have about being in my power and having my power, whatever that means, even if I haven't figured out what that is, I'm releasing all of that fear now across all lifetime, space, and dimensions, releasing the fear of my power, of being in my power, of using my power. All of the beliefs that I've picked up on, that using my power means hurting others, that if I empower myself, I disempower others, that if I take up space, I'm taking up other people's space. All of that is from limited consciousness. And it's time for me to release all of that now across all lifetime, space, and dimensions. Just releasing all of the fear. Just allow yourself to release all of that fear of being powerful, of being different, of living life differently, more expansively, more powerfully than others choose to. And all of the fear that you're carrying, that being in your power means being rejected by others or rejecting others. Let's just release all of that too. We'll just do a quick tapping on top of the head. So all of this fear of being in our power. Ooh, you know how like my arms like to move. All of this fear of my power. Ooh, all of this fear of being rejected. All of this fear of being alone. Nobody understanding me. Nobody getting me. I have to live like other people, otherwise I'll be misunderstood. Letting all of that go. And just be aware of the things, the thoughts that come up, the awarenesses that come up, the beliefs that come up around, you know, rejection and being rejected. And it really is a driving force for people that, you know, we compromise and we mimic others and we live like other people do in order to not be rejected. That's a pretty powerful force and a very limiting force and a, you know, it's a thing that, you know, me and Althea are conscious of, and, you know, we find ourselves getting sucked into it every now and then, but we pull ourselves out of it. You know, that's why I always say to people, awareness is a gift. Don't make yourself wrong when you become aware that you're functioning from a certain place. Don't kick yourself in the ass on top of it. Just be like, oh, interesting. Okay, now let me shift out of that. And Althea and I, this is what we do. We help people shift out of shit. And into a more empowered space. And you'll see Althea's beautiful paintings behind her. If anybody wants a, you know, unique, you do that, right? And people can ask for paintings, but and she will paint something beautiful for you. Let me show you what she did for me. Look at that beautiful.
Oh, I love it so much. It looks so pretty there.
Yeah, I love it. Beautiful.
Oh, it's so you.
It is. I
Yeah, I
really, really
tapped
love it.
into her energy. Sometimes I'll ask people what colors they like,
Yeah.
but I tap into people's energy and just like what do they want or need, and then I
Yeah.
use for them. That looks so good there.
Yeah, they're beautiful paintings. Highly recommend.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It'll make me all shy.
Aw.
From all the energy work, I can't think straight right now. I can't. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just like,
Oh my God. I think we have been on for like an hour,
probably.
possibly. Yeah.
Is it
So
okay?
that
That's our
was beautiful. That was better than I even thought it was going to be. And I'm really glad we did it. I'm going to post it now. And I hope people like listen and re-listen. I know I will.
yeah.
And
This was our contribution to the
yeah,
world. I think it was really important in the beginning to get everyone a little calmed down, a little eased in, not to make yourself wrong for how you're feeling, and then here's some energy to help you get back to center so that you can create and think more clearly about what you want to create. Like it's
yeah.
okay. It's
Yeah,
valid.
because honestly, like if everybody stayed out of, not everybody, but if people chose, like as many people as possible, chose to stay out of the panic and get back into your own self and use this as an opportunity to, you know, find you and find you, your voice and your message, and get creative and start creating what comes from the inside out. I mean, that's pure magic right there. I really believe we are all here with a unique voice and a unique experience and a unique way that we can contribute to the planet positively. And this is a great time to tap into that shit. Like, it's a great time. Write the book that you've been wanting to write, as she says to herself. But although I've been spending time spinning and knitting, I will probably end up writing. I kind of already started writing it, but I'm enjoying like the creative stuff that's coming through me, and I really encourage people to just like tap back in to yourself. This is a really, really great time to do it. Like, you know, you're stuck inside with yourself, so enjoy it. Really,
There's
fall in
plenty.
love with yourself.
Yes, fall in love with yourself.
Yeah.
Fall in love. All right,
Yeah.
enjoy, get some water, rest a
Yeah.
little bit, guys, because that was a lot. We helped the whole planet.
Yeah.
Yay! All right,
All
I'll
right.
see you soon. Bye.
Okay. Bye. Love you.